Officials have now revealed that the Boston terror suspects and their families received food stamp and other welfare.
So how does someone who was investigated by the FBI end up on welfare? Well, we're joined now by the Massachusetts State Representative Shaunna O'Connell. Shaunna, nice to see you this morning.
Oh, good morning. Glad to be here.
So let's put this out there. We know that the older brother and all the family in general had been put on this watch list. The Russian authorities had contacted the CIA. They were looked at. Now, it was a massive, massive watch list, upwards of 754,000 people on this watch list. But if you're on that list, how are you able to receive government benefits on top of being on that same terrorist watch list? Doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't, and it doesn't make any sense to the victims and the taxpayers. You shouldn't be receiving taxpayer-funded benefits, of course. But I'll tell you why it happens in Massachusetts, because in Massachusetts, Social Security numbers are not required to receive many of the benefits. To get housing, you cannot be denied if you don't give a Social Security number. To get cash assistance and food stamp assistance, you can just say, sign a piece of paper and say, I'm applying for a Social Security number, and they'll let you start getting the assistance, and then they never follow up on it. So we're kind of using the honor system here in Massachusetts when it comes to giving out taxpayer-funded benefits. And recently in the legislature, I have filed legislation and fought for legislation to require people to give Social Security numbers before they receive any taxpayer assistance, and that was voted down.
So here's a few more details. As recently as last year, the older brother, Chamberlain, and his American wife and their 3-year-old child were on welfare. We know that the parents and the younger brother, Johar, also received welfare benefits and food stamps on at least 3 separate occasions for a year or 2-year-long stints. So since your legislation was voted down, what's the answer here?
Well, the answer is I'm certainly going to keep fighting for it. It's been very hard in Massachusetts to get any welfare reform passed. And, you know, unfortunately, our governor has taken the stance that we need to protect the privacy of these terrorists over supporting the victims and the taxpayers here in Massachusetts, and is giving out very little information about what welfare benefits they receive. And I think these people, the victims, deserve to know whether or not they were funding the lifestyle of a terrorist who was over in Dagestan for 6 months learning how to kill Americans.
That it appears to be the case this morning. Shaunna O'Connell, please keep us updated on your fights there in the state of Massachusetts. And thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.